I'd like to open this, Pete, if you could, with like some easy listening lounge jazz music.
Oh, I got you.
Something that sounds a little period. Yeah, you can play over this. Okay. Yeah.
You got it. Yeah.
Ooh, British
nice.
accent incoming.
Smooth.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Are you embarrassed easily? I am. But it's nothing to worry about. It's all part of growing up and being British. This course is designed to eliminate embarrassment, to talk freely about rude objects, and to look at awkward and embarrassing things. The method is the result of 6 years' work here at the Institute, in which subjects were exposed to simulated embarrassment over a prolonged period of time. Intro music. Welcome, fellow chaoticians, to Crafting Chaos. I am Ryan Dalton, here with Pete Wright and Kyle Olson. I will say Mandy is not here. She is currently running guns for the Yakuza, so we will see her next time.
Oh.
Again?
Man,
she can't quit them.
I thought she was out, but I guess they pulled her back in.
Oh my God, why doesn't screenwriting pay more money? Ugh.
So, tell the good people where that bit at the start came from, Randall.
Yes. As you may have guessed from my British counterparts intro, this week we are talking about humor. Where does it come from? How do we create it? Does the humor we like to consume differ from the humor that we end up creating? And we're going to shout out some of our like favorite humor bits along the way, just to illustrate the point. First, though, our opening segment has been hijacked by Kyle Olson, for which I will seek revenge at a time and place which he least suspects. However, until then, Kyle, what have you got for us?
Well, it's sort of at the top of the show. You know, it used to be that we would sort of, this was catching up and talking things that were going on. We've had so much interesting stuff that we want to talk about that has sort of drifted into this, our first part here, and we've sort of ended up having double or multiple main topics. So I'm going to sort of bring it back old school and tell about an actual thing that happened that I think will be interesting because the two of you know the beginnings of the story, but you don't know the end of it, and our audience doesn't know anything about this. So this is sort of that. I wish it was David Sedaris, where I had like at the end there was like a beautiful thing that brought it all together, and we all just went, yeah, okay, but it won't. The story will just end, which is why it's here at the top and
Kyle.
not somewhere later on.
Maybe we could end it
exactly
with the Seinfeld music, just like you don't expect catharsis at the end of a Seinfeld.
Yeah, exactly, right. So it's about the fact that you never really know what impact your work is going to have or where it will end up. So I got an email out of the blue from a retirement community in Pennsylvania that said, we found a bag with a laptop, some music, and a script in it. Do you know whose it is? The only information we can find in there is your name is on the script. So, and of course, because I'm a professional, so I actually put my email address on the front page of the script. So,
Which you rarely
do.
I just want to make sure everybody knows you're an antagonist to your own name.
I have learned, and so that's how I knew also that it was probably more recent.
You've been an enigma, but against your will, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I'm my own worst enemy. The odd part about it is I have no connection to these people like that. As I looked up to make sure this was legit, like if this is a phishing scam, it's a really weird one. So I did my due diligence to make sure this is an actual place, a real person, and this was a real person who worked there, and it was. And so I went back and I said, yeah, I'd love to help you, except that I don't know anyone there. I haven't been to Pennsylvania in 12 or 15 years, somewhere in there. Like I don't have any contacts out there. I really have no idea how my thing got there. So, but I said, but I'm happy to help, but I just don't know how. And so she came back and said, oh, that'd be great. We just wanted to get the person their stuff back. It was not mine. Like there's no twist coming where there's another me out there. One of me is more than enough.
That you left your briefcase in the retirement community 15 years ago in Pennsylvania.
I feel like that
would be funny.
There's a Stephen King novel. I feel like that's like this, but but this was not that.
Yeah.
So she got back and I said, just out of curiosity's sake, like, what script was it? And so she said, oh, it was, and then said the name of one of the ones that we had talked about here in the show, one of the ones that I did for the Phoenix Theater 24-hour play festival earlier this year in January. So I was like, oh, weird, because that has such a small reach. Like, I have stuff that's out there that's going to be available, but like that one was made in 24 hours for those people and has never been seen again. Like, I was like, oh, wow, that seriously narrows it down. Like, and I was like, oh, it's too bad you don't know the name of the person. And she's like, oh, we know the name of the person. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, it's the computer.
Then why are they calling you?
Right. The computer opened up. But the problem is it's a super common name. And that's all they had. So then she came back and said, like, oh, it's this, John Smith or whatever, too. I don't want to reveal the person because I don't know what the circumstances of leaving their stuff behind was. But I was like, well, that severely limits it down. So then I went back to the Phoenix Theater 24-hour thing and found the master list that way emailed us all of the participants and found the guy and connected him back to her, and his laptop and stuff has been returned. He has been reunited with his stuff.
That has to be enormously satisfying for this person.
Yeah, exactly. For him, for her, and for me. I was just like, oh God, I really want this story to have an ending. I don't want this thing to be out there of just like, we'll never know. Like, why do I have not contacted him to find out. I kind of want to do that just as the coda of like, so what happened?
Yeah.
But I also am worried it's going to be something not nice. So maybe better. Just
I
let
was
that
going down the
mystery-
road of like, there's a Pennsylvania retirement community meet cute in your future. Like, this is fodder for your next play.
Could be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But and the other weirder part of it is I don't know who this guy is, and he was not in my show. So for whatever
why
reason,
does he have your script?
How did he have the script? Why did he have the script? Why did he have it printed out? And why did he bring it with him? So there are some lingering mysteries. But, all in all, a happy ending to a odd situation. And, this is the importance of putting your name on your stuff. And a way to contact you online.
Stop learning.
That's right.
That's outstanding. Way to go.
Cool story.
Way to go, universe.
Cool story, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
No, that
cool
was
story,
fun,
bro.
No, that was fun. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. And keep us up to date if you get more information at some point.
Yeah,
It'd be
right.
Fun to find out.
Exactly.
Well, while we're on the subject of just kind of current events, then before we can dive into our next segments, Pete, is there anything that you would like to share?
Okay. No, I get maybe. I guess.
I put you on
sure.
I put you on the spot. I know.
That was
just teed you right
man,
up.
There were some headlights.
Would you
I
like
was a deer?
Would you like to edit out a pause so you can gather your thoughts?
No, this all
long
stays
pause
in.
and then
This is the chaos
no.
part.
This is the chaos. Yeah.
I'm really trying to. I think about you every day, Ryan, because I'm really trying to become a stable, like a routinized writer. I'm writing every day. I'm really struggling right now with balancing multiple projects because I've built out this calendar that requires me to be working on two things for a release schedule. One is short, one is long. They're both coming along, but they're taking up a lot of rent in my brain and figuring out how to find a filter. So I don't burn it out. You know what I mean? Like I worry that I'm burning maybe too brightly, and I don't want to kind of lose the spark altogether by trying to do too much. But I'm still very enthusiastic about it, and I'm in this sort of development edit process on the big one, and that is really satisfying because it's nice to be reminded kind of daily what works, what doesn't, how pieces are coming together. I'm making a mess of things because I'm editing things that have real continuity implications that I know is just going to make it harder for me over the next month. But I'm still very, very happy with it, and I'm on track for sort of July, August releases. So that's what I'm working on, and is just this the follow up to the book that just released, Lattice. I'm writing a caper. It is I'm very excited. This is just an experimental theater of Pete, is seeing if I can write a satisfying caper.
Nice.
And and the other one that is the bigger piece is my first kind of YA adventure, and that is coming along. I have 26 chapters for the finished story, and I'm through about chapter 18 on the kind of development edit. And so far, the people I have read it to and have been reading it are still asking for more. I cannot ask for more myself. So
awesome.
Well, that's where I am.
Well, when you're ready for beta readers for the whole things, feel free to reach out if you would like.
You are. Thank you.
Yes.
And
Ryan would be happy to find some beta readers
you feel
for
like
you.
telling me. When you want to tell me how you juggle successfully doing the things that I'm struggling to do, I'm all ears.
Well, yeah, it's always a rebalancing act, I should say.
Yeah.
Like for right now, one of the ways I manage it is by working on things that are all at very different stages. That's what helps me. So, for instance, so I just finished. I'd mentioned before, first draft of my mystery thriller. I'm letting that.
That was the one where you killed a lot of people.
Yes, yeah. It's funny you say that, because my parents are usually my alpha readers. Like, they usually read the first draft, because they're a good mix of, they're pretty well read, and they're a good mix of supportive but very honest. So, but my mom is my mom, and she sometimes thinks because it's me writing it will hit her differently, and literally yesterday we were talking about that book, because she had just finished it like the day before, and she said, I could tell you've grown over the years as a writer. Most of the time I forgot it was you who had written it.
Ooh.
But do you have to kill so many people? I was like, well, it is a murder mystery.
They all deserve
Somebody's
to
gotta
die.
go.
Yeah, someone's gonna have to die at some point. So yeah, that's funny you said that. But so, because that's at the point that it's at, I'm just letting it sit for a little bit. I already have notes on what I'm going to do for draft 3, because I already did sort of a cleanup draft 2. So I already know basically what draft 3 is going to look like. After draft 3, that's when I'll send it out to betas and stuff. But while that's sitting, I'm doing 2 things. I am almost done outlining book 3 of the Black Cape Saga. And so it's been exciting to go back to that. And I'm very near to where I will sit and write that. And I'll end up drafting that fairly quickly, actually, because that's like really ready to go in my head. I also had a conversation recently with my agent, where we talked about next projects and next steps. So she knows she's going to get this thriller, which we'll figure out what to do with. But then we wanted to pick the next thing. And so we picked the next thing. And it was just like, it was a 3-sentence idea that I had that I just liked the idea of, but honestly never thought she would go for it. So I didn't spend any time like really developing it beyond just like 1 sentence of the concept, another to give kind of the mood. And when I described it a little bit to her, she said, man, if you can deliver on that thing that you just described, I think we could do something with that.
Okay.
So
wow.
I am now diving into that and doing it's a genre I have dabbled in before but never done fully. And so I'm starting concept work and world building and all that stuff for that, and literally building that universe up from scratch, which is fun to be back in kind of builder mode in a brand new story. So all 3 of those things are completely different stages, which is how I can keep them in their own boxes. And because I'm not like committed to a specific date to any of them yet, there's no due dates yet. It's just me working on them. I can, like, as the inspiration and like energy for one rises and the others falls, I can give the attention to what needs attention on a particular day or particular moment. Now that will get more stringent as I get towards like release dates and deadlines and things. But for now, I'm just kind of in that out to sea period where I'm just working on everything. And yeah, I mean, it's a lot of energy to direct and manage and a lot of times and schedules, but I'm enjoying all 3 of them. So It's a good time.
One of the things I find I'm struggling with, and I'm sort of calling myself out on, is I'll spend some time writing new material in one piece, and I'll go back and forget that I've fallen in love with like a turn of phrase, and I'll end up using it in the other piece and find that voices start infecting one another, even though they're very different projects. And I'm having to give notes to like my family as they're reading it, saying, call me out when things feel like artificially familiar. And that because I'm infecting myself with my own love of certain tropes of language. I that's obviously not a help me fix that kind of an observation. It's more of a I'm a little bit self-aware.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to be self-aware.
I come off the rails. Yeah. And that's just the thing I'm noticing right now. Like, this character would not say that. He's only saying that because she said it over here.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
And you were really proud of yourself in that other book. So
I have had in the past, and I'm sure, you know, we've all got little crutch words and other things, or things phrases that we like. We may not even realize it. I remember I had one word that my mom at one book, and not this one, but a little ways back, she's like, you must like that word. You used it in 2 or 3 books.
Oh, man. That weighs so heavy on me. Oh, my God.
Like, well, I can't use that anymore. And she was right.
The How I Met Your Mother glass shattering thing. Because, I just found one of mine, too. And I just went back earlier stuff and then did search. And I was like, oh, no.
Well, and I'll tell you a horrifying experience that I do it with all the books, but it hurts in the moment, is like to take the finished manuscript, or, you know, like a draft of it, and upload it to
word cloud
to essentially find your most used words, and to find that like your favorite word.
God, you do that?
Oh, yeah, no, I do, because like, I mean, literally there's been times where, oh, you used that word 98 times in this book, and I was like, oh, that can't happen. So
oh, God,
I go back and look at it.
I need a practical tutorial right now. How do you do that? What do you use? This is craft.
Yeah, so there's literally a text editor I upload it to that, and I just say, hey, for, you know, show me most commonly used words and how many times I used them, and it will give me like the list of like top 50 words, and it'll give me like it'll rank them from like most used to least used on that list.
And you just do a find and replace and start editing.
I look through every single one of them, and I ask myself, do I really need that word there, or can I use something else? And I usually end up getting rid of about half of them. And
you can also do a word cloud, where you basically have the same kind of thing. You upload in there, and then it puts out all the words in there, and then by size in the cloud will be how many times
you
it's
can
been
see.
used. So you actually can literally see like the biggest word is like, oh, maybe that's. But if they're all sort of an equal thing, it's like, okay, that's a nice balance.
Okay. All right. Well, new thing Pete learned today. Word cloud his work. I can already tell you the biggest. I'm going to go ahead and out myself. Specific.
Oh.
I have already noticing in chapter 18 that I am calling it out as I'm reading it. I'm like, oh, I've used that word a lot.
The word specific or
giant. The word the specific word specific, Kyle. The specific word specifically specific.
For me, it's the worst. For me, it's just. I mean, can we just? How about you just? And I looked it up, and that's what I found. Like, some people are like, there's other writers on there. I was like, I can't stop using the word just. I'm like, oh, it's not just me.
No, that's
I become super aware of it every time I do it, and I was like, oh.
Yeah. I don't want to say what mine are, because there may be readers that listen to this, and I don't want it to jump out every time they read that word. And they're like, you shouldn't use that.
I didn't realize how liberating it is not to have readers listening to me out myself yet. That's awesome. That's really perfect.
But I'll if I could spoil your future, Pete, if you keep doing this, you will also start noticing that with other people in the way they speak as well.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's the veil will part, and you'll see the code behind how they say things and why and all that.
I feel like you guys are cursing me today. This is
honestly, there's a part of being a writer that is that.
It's well, It's like
Same thing.
any filmmaker or anything. I've heard them say that it's hard for them to
Yeah.
watch movies because they see the matrix code behind everything,
Yes.
and they like they
Yeah.
see a really cool shot and can't help thinking, oh, I bet they used this rig to do that and this
Yeah.
and that. And so
Yeah.
I have told people it's like the thing about knowing the craft is that yeah, it does make it so there are probably fewer things you can enjoy. However, the things that you can enjoy more.
Mhm.
So there's a
Mhm.
cost, but there's also a really cool upside.
Hi, I'm not there. I know. I had to be in a production meeting because what I'm doing is writing a horror movie in 2 weeks and then going and shooting it in 10 days. Unprecedented, really kind of stupid fun with a lot of really smart, interesting people who are also crazy enough to try to make a movie in 10 days. But that's what we're doing. And I'm really excited about it. It's called White. It's a modern day adaptation of the Snow White fairy tale. Kind of single white female meets Snow White based on a young adult book proposal that my friend Eddie Gamera has. And we're shooting it at the Vassar College campus with all Vassar alum. Well, mostly Vassar alum. Apparently not all of them became sound recordists and mixers when they graduated. So if anybody has a good sound person in the New York area, please write into the show. Friends of the show, let me know. Yes, that's the crazy craft and chaos that I've been up to. And I apologize that I have not been able to represent live on this podcast, but I do have a few things to say, so stay tuned.
Okay, well, good catch up. We'd like to do our first ad before we dive into the next segment.
Hey humans, it's me, a bear. We're getting to the season where you're kinda going to go tromping around in the woods. Eventually, you'll meet up with our kind. I wanted to remind you of the rules. If it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's white, say goodnight. Got it? Good. Stay safe or stay home.
Okay.
I
I
tend,
legit did not know those
You did not know
things.
those rules.
No.
I have a fourth one that I always use. If it's bear, use a bazooka. That's,
The rhyme doesn't quite work, but I like the sentiment.
no, but yeah,
I do
the message
too.
is really clear though. So
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we're going to go to our main event. So I spoke before on a recent podcast about how I realized something about myself that no matter what I'm writing, whether it's time travel sci-fi or murder mystery, I can't not write humor and quirky characters in between the serious stuff. It just springs out of me. And while it's happening, I'm having so much fun with it. I don't want to steer away from it unless the scene, specifically requires no humor to work. I've also, like, as the more I've done this, come to realize that the humor that I create tends to be a much different flavor than the humor that I enjoy consuming. I'm sure that all feeds into the machine that ends up spitting out my humor because everyone's got unwitting influences. But it just feels, at least to me, looking at my own stuff versus what I like, it feels different. Um, for instance, from the opener, you may have guessed that I am a Monty Python fan. I have been ever since I was a weird little kid. I mean like 8 and 10 and like preteen years and stuff, and to where even the rest of my family was like, "What are you watching?" But then as the years go by, I only appreciate it more. But it's also a very different brand of humor than what comes out of me. Um, so I do, and I'll save it for the end of this segment. Have a snippet that I was hoping we could do a little live read of a piece of just from one of my Black Cape books, just to show a little bit of my weird,
Fun.
silly humor. But before I jump into that, I was wanting to just hear from you guys, like what tends to attract you as far as humor you consume. Do you feel like it's different than any humor that you might write, or is it the same, or just what's your experience with it?
I feel like I need to go back to the formative years, like when you talk about your love of the young ones. Or not the young ones, of Monty Python. That was me with the young ones when I discovered the young ones. It was absurd, and I could still, I could still quote massive sections of it. It is, and it's like I am sent into convulsive spasms of joy when I watch the young ones to this day. It is my first exposure to the kind of comedy that I think I'm sort of terrified of trying to duplicate, because it's so absurd and funny. You know, the stuff they do with the Grim Reaper and giant sandwiches falling on them, and God, I mean when he comes back and he says, you know,
Rick, man, what are you doing with my crucifix, man?
Testing.
Yeah, look, I really think I should lay this one on you, man. That's a really negative way to kill yourself, you know. Like, I've tried it hundreds of times. There's no way you can hammer in the last nail.
that kind of humor and stuff I will never be able to create, because my brain just doesn't work that way.
What a great line.
On its own, right? Like, it just doesn't. I don't know how to do that. I want to very badly, but I've never been able to see it. And I think, you know, you look at the guys like The Lonely Island, or, you know, they are able to see around particular corners of humor that I just get to enjoy. I've never understood how The Hangover affects me. So the movie, I loved that movie irrationally. It just tickled me to no end. So those are the kinds of things I find I am most moved to comedy, by comedy, when it is in that very, very broad. And I don't create it. When the second I sit down at a keyboard to write something, that is not where my instinct goes. And maybe I think I'm intimidated by it. But yeah, I don't know why that is. I think some of the stuff that I write can be funny. I have witty turns of phrase. I can generate some wit in my characters. I have been known from time to time to imbue them with a joke or two. But it's I don't know how to. I don't think I'm really great at creating broad, which is the stuff I love the most.
Think so.
How about you, Kyle?
Yeah, so continuing on the influence of British comedy, both of those I plus one though. I will also add to that Mr. Bean, because one of the things that I really enjoy is physical comedy. I like when people can, without a word, do that. And of course, you know, Mr. Bean, well established. We don't need to spend any time on that. He's doing fine. And stuff is perennial. But like going back to Buster Keaton, like his premise is the audience loves a slow learner. So I love the idea of like somebody going and doing the same thing over and over again, and just like, we're already ahead of it, but they don't get it. That stuff is fantastic. And there's also, I don't think it's online or anything, because it happened. I just happened to, because I knew people. There's a guy named, let's see, check this right. His name is Ithamar Enriquez, and he has a one-man show called Ithamar Has Nothing to Say. And he came to Phoenix because he knows some of the people in the improv community, and did this. And it's 45 minutes. It's him on stage alone. He never says a word. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It's just like several different comedic situations that he puts himself in. It's literally just him and like a coat rack and a chair and a table, and that's it. And I was like the loudest person in that room. Just even I brought my daughter, and she's like, "So you really like that, huh?" It's like, you don't understand. Like, this is exactly like this is like. He might have made this just for me. And so it's a show he does around. I hope at some point it gets put on some sort of media. Fantastic. If you look him up, he's done a bunch of stuff. He's been in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He's done a bunch of television. But it's like, this is a very rare thing, that someone who can actually do that. The Harold Lloyd thing, that physical thing. John Ritter used to be able to do this kind of stuff. I mean, just them alone without on stage trying to accomplish something. Jim Carrey has this. I mean, like that thing that they could just walk into a room funny. My God, like I don't know how you write that. Yeah. Like, how do you like set up those situations where people can do it? But man, that stuff always just blows me away, that somehow they have the presence, they have the understanding of their Dick Van Dyke. So these names keep popping up, like people who can do this, because there's the number of them is so small. but I don't know how to write that. So as a pivot to what I get. I find that when I try to do that stuff, I can't always get the actors to do what it is that I'm portraying. So like a lot of times my stuff is very wordy. I like wordplay and I like conversation and I like bouncing back and forth. I like that. I'm trying to like put more stuff in there as hopefully my talent for like writing situations or descriptions is more. I can do some of it like we talked about with Jen Silverman, to be able to put more of the intent of like, here's what you're trying to do in this as you're carrying this tray across the stage, as opposed to you carry the tray across the stage, it falls. Like, like everything rides on this moment and you're gonna blow it. Those kind of because they're not, like I said, it's so rare that like to find somebody who can do it, it's tough. But those are the things that like I always go back to because they live forever. Like you can watch any of these things and it's not dated by time. I'm trying to show some comedies this summer to some of our college interns or student work, and I'm looking back at stuff and going, well, those haven't aged well. So I don't want to have a 15-minute preface before I sit down and show a comedy to them during our idle times. So it's to go back to some of these things that are just like funny situations without having to know the cultural context or to apologize for a different time.
Hi, it's me again. I am loving this ability to just interrupt whenever I see fit. I think that I can write all of the comedy, and I think also, as you may have noticed occasionally, maybe not as much on this podcast, but other podcasts and or conversations, I have a tendency to laugh a lot at all of my own jokes because I think things are funny. But I will say, I was trying to think of the genre that I don't think I can write or wouldn't write, or at least try to write after seeing someone do it. There's two things for me. One is a movie like Dumb and Dumber. I know that's an ancient reference. Most recently, the one I was thinking of is like Anaconda, which I actually thought was super funny. Not anything I ever would have thought I would think is funny because I knew it'd be very broad comedy and goofy and there's like dead animals and like it's hilarious and stupid as all get out. And I loved it. But it also has a heartbeat to it. It has like an emotional through line. I probably wouldn't do something that feels that like, I don't know, easy to get, like low-hanging fruit, but it's not. It's very clever. It's very well written, and it just made me laugh so hard at characters and extreme situations that I normally would never, ever love, especially adding action to comedy. I'm always like, no, thank you. And then I watch them and I laugh hysterically. Like the added adrenaline actually does make things funnier. But my problem is whenever I go to write something funny, I think I always have to have the like underlying ennui or truth. Like I think I tend to write more cringe comedy, which a lot of people don't like. They don't like that awkward feeling of, oh God, this could actually happen, or oh my God, I know someone like this and I'm grateful if I'm not in a room with someone like that. Oh, I love that stuff. I laugh at it. And unfortunately, I think I write it.
That makes me think of Conan O'Brien, who very specifically and purposefully often doesn't talk about anything about current events or anything because he wants the comedy to feel timeless.
Yeah.
And to be not so firmly rooted in one moment that it can't age well. And I'm a huge fan of his too, and I always respect that approach of his. That he just wants pure comedy. He has no desire to comment on current events.
Yeah, there is a certain amount of I don't know. I think the other, you bring up Conan O'Brien, and I think I've always been a fan of Conan O'Brien, and I think he has achieved a new height with Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's almost his natural habitat.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the nature of, I think, both allowing us to see a side of him that's both funny, human, and vulnerable, and also how he uses humor to diffuse, defend, deflect, in a way that I think he makes it look like one of the most natural things that one could do. I mean, he makes just being a funny human being look super easy.
Oh man, yeah, and everyone that you hear from, every other like celebrity or thing that has interacted with him, are like a lot of comedians and stuff. That's kind of a stage persona and everything. With Conan, that's him. That is literally
Yeah,
who he is.
That's all you get.
Yeah, what you're
Right.
seeing there is Conan, and yeah, I admire that a lot, and I do think that he thrives on. I think he enjoys it when he doesn't know what's going to happen next, and
Yes.
because I think the most fun I ever saw him have on one of his shows, it was when he was doing his second show, like the TBS show,
Mhm.
and the last minute, like minutes before they
Technically,
had to
that'd be his
record.
third show, but yeah, go.
Oh right, yeah. Yeah, revoke my comedy nerd credentials. Yeah,
For
I mean,
sure.
you
Yeah.
know, just the Tonight
Probation.
Show. It's fine.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like minutes before they were supposed to record, it was Kumail Nanjiani who was supposed to be on there, but he was filming Silicon Valley at the time. The schedule changed, and he very suddenly couldn't be there. And so they just, they had no planned guest, and so he brought out Sona, his assistant, and they just did whatever for that, like the half of the show that Camille was supposed to have been there. And you could see in Conan, he was so excited and just having the best time because it was completely off the cuff. And I think he was really in his element there.
I'm suppressing my urge to talk about the late night thing because like this is a passion thing of mine. But the episodes of Late Night with Conan O'Brien were during the strike where they weren't allowed to write anything, or they weren't allowed to, were some of the best episodes he ever did because he literally had an hour to fill and no celebrities with which to chat. So they couldn't write anything. Like legally, he could not put anything down. So he had to come up with bits like spinning his ring or playing with the audience or all these things. And this is like network television. This is millions of dollars. And we're watching him spin his wedding ring on his desk. And it was like, this is so audacious and brilliant and just the stupidest idea ever. But my God, I still remember that after all these years. I still remember all of those. And it was, creativity like right on display of you got to perform, so perform.
There is a special talent to crowd work, right? To being able, like you said, to perform, but to perform improvisationally, that is really, really special for some of these folks. And I mean, my YouTube feed my algorithm is just really loving crowd work comics right now, and so you see people who are able to engage that spark of that allows them to work with people, like collaboratively with people who are not there to work collaboratively with you, right? That is a delightful
Sarah Millican's
gift.
latest special has a whole section where she's just talking to the crowd, and it's like she's so fast. Like I can't wrap
she's
my head
amazing
around
at crowd
it.
work.
That like someone will say something and she immediately has a funny line to follow it up. It's just wild.
She's
and it goes right
incredibly
back
skilled.
into her material. I mean,
the best thing about her is for me is that she has such a sweet voice, and the things she says are so sharp and witty and brilliantly funny. She's awesome.
I will say, before we move too far away from Conan, there was a bit that somebody had put together a compilation of like their favorite moments and stuff too, and there was a bit they were doing with Matt Gorley, who's also one of my comedy heroes. He's fantastic in all the Star Wars.
Amazing
improv. And what a great partner, like the two of them together. But there was a bit where they were doing, and Matt just kept going on this ridiculous, horrible tangent thing. And so then Conan pulls out his phone and pretends he's reading a review of the episode they're recording. And like Gorley continued on this bit, even though no one had, and he just like kept, and he was like scrolling, and someone was laughing because like, you're pretending to scroll. We know you're not reading this. And he's like, hold on. And he's like, there's an ad. All right. And then he continues on. He just continues on with like the review of the episode that they're currently in. And then at the end of it, the reviewer had killed himself. So then he does like the notice of like after having realized that he could never experience joy again after having to review this episode. I mean, and he just committed to the bit so hard, and they were just laughing. It was like meta on top of meta on top of meta.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
I think Conan is one of those guys that I can see a path to how someone is able to build a set of skills that allows them to truck with Conan, like to become Matt or Sona, and who are just naturally very funny people who have worked very hard as students of the comedic arts to be able to truck with Conan, who is preternaturally good at it. The other kind of comedian is someone who's not a comedian at all, but who just exudes a certain realness to them, a certain like humor that comes just from being able to say the quiet part out loud, right? For lack of a better trope, right? To speak truth to cultural power. And I'm talking, of course, about Harrison Ford. I can't count the number of supercuts on YouTube of Harrison Ford being Harrison Ford for like 15 straight minutes. But he is a guy who has really captured and I don't think it's craft or art on his part. I just think he is unafraid to say whatever it is. And when you talk about Conan O'Brien, you have to watch the interactions of Harrison Ford on Conan's show over the years, because those two together are fireworks. It's absolutely extraordinary. I don't know if Harrison Ford knows he's funny. I legitimately, I don't know all the time if he knows he's funny, but there are things that he gets away with that feel so audacious to me. It makes me, that is a thing that makes me a little bit creatively jealous, right? I'm like, oh, how did he get there with that remark, that retort, that observation? That is something I as a creator, I think about in terms of, how to get better at what I do.
There was talking about Harrison Ford and his recent scene partner, Jason Segel. He was on an episode of Good One recently, and it was really interesting to hear him talk about his career like at a distance, to in a way I had never really heard any sort of comedian talk about, like him knowing how he was perceived. Like he was saying that, like, after he got his success on Freaks and Geeks and then moving over into like Forgetting Sarah Marshall, he saw how people saw him and was able to write for it. And I had never really heard a comedian like that kind of comedian, and not like comedian, but a comic performer talking about, like, oh, I can get away with this because the audience will like me up until I say this thing, and then I can't say that. That he understood the persona of what people expect from a Jason Segel performance enough. And I was like, wow, I'm not that insightful about any part of my life. And yet he was able to see like the Jason Segel character as opposed to the actual performer inside, and what he could do on a stage in a movie that he could get away with. It was like,
I mean, that's how Bruce Wayne thinks about Batman.
Right. But then, now he and Harrison Ford together,
Jason Segel talked about the breakup scene from Forgetting Sarah Marshall came from a real life breakup that he had, and it struck me when he told this story, because he talked about, like, this breakup happened and, like, he was naked or semi-naked at the time when the girl dumped him, and he said, like, right afterwards, because this was a fairly long term relationship, and he was like devastated, but even in that moment, he said, I have to sit down. I have to start writing this down because it's going to be gold later on.
Oh, wow.
And it struck me because I was like, oh man, I did that. Because I've done, and not for comedic scenes, but I've done that at emotional points, saying I need to record this right now how it is so that I can put this in something. And I was like, oh wow. So hey, he does a different thing than I do, but the process is similar. It was cool.
Yeah.
The service of using humor to build that sort of humanity, I think, is another thing that builds the parasocial relationship between audience and humorist. I went to see Mae Martin a couple of weeks ago, who is extraordinary and a real naturalist when it comes to observational humor, and the bits were funny. They also did an entire segment of just two-hander improv based on audience prompts, and then brought out a guitar and played a number of songs that were extraordinary. And in the process of this show, one of their jokes actually was a story about how their fiance broke up with them And I'm sitting there with my daughter, and we had not heard that news. And we were bereft for like the next 10 minutes because we were like, how dare someone break up with Mae Martin? How the nerve, the humanity that it takes to break up with Mae Martin.
I just watched
we were ready to go out and start soliciting like people who would date Mae Martin.
I just watched the Tig Notaro documentary. Tig, I think it's called Tig.
Yeah.
I had missed it, and so like one of my bouts of insomnia, I was up watching and stuff too. And that same thing of like in the darkest of her times, someone breaks up with her. Like her mother, she has just gotten over C. diff. Her mother had died. She'd got diagnosed with cancer, and they're like, "Yeah, this is the time I'm gonna break up." That was like, what kind of? but that gets the art of the thing of like, what kind of monster is that? But also then, what kind of monster would you be if you stayed?
That's the thing. There's no good time to break up with somebody.
So it's like, I'm like, ooh, right there. There's drama. Like there's.
But you know what? You look at what they're able to do to turn that into a kind of relational comedy that makes us buy in so much to the bit in the show that makes it transformational. And I think that's an extraordinary skill too.
The other type of humor that I would say is we've mentioned how I have failed spectacularly at stand-up comedy. And I am too weird. Like I don't just sort of, if I were to write jokes about being on an airplane or my latest diet, I think it would just sound like every other stand-up before me. I don't know how to be on a stage by myself and not sound like Shecky Green. But one comedian who I think is amazing, and I wish I could do what he does because he doesn't drop the F-bomb every 5 minutes, is Tom Papa. He is so funny, and there is his comedy special from 2020, guys. It's called You're Doing Great, and there's this opening segment. I think it's about 3 minutes in, but I'd have to double check, where he talks about eating bread. And my family still quotes it to this day. It's the simplest observation in the world about how we all want to be fitter, more athletic, better than we are. And his whole opening gambit is like, yeah, but you're not. You're not an Olympic athlete. You're Larry from accounting. It's hilarious. And I wish I could be that funny in a stand-up-y way about regular, everyday things.
Cool. Nice deep dive, guys. So I wanted to do something at the end here just to illustrate what I was talking about at the start of like, the humor we like and consume may be different than the humor that we like create or that comes out of us. So just think about that little snippet I did from Monty Python at the start, and like that tone and how that is. Everyone knows how Monty Python comes across, which is what I like to consume. And like even the Conan O'Brien type, which I like equally as much. And then contrast that with this little scene snippet from one of my books. I actually, if you guys check your email boxes, there's a little tiny script in there. So Kyle, if you could be the action narrator.
Absolutely.
Pete, if you could play Zoe. And
I'm on it.
I will play Jim. So a scene setup. So this is in, a superhero book. So there's just been a big fight between the main character, Jim, and a hero named Geometron. Also, yeah, that in itself is a little silly. Yeah.
That's amazing.
You're already learning the tone of these books. Also, Jim had sort of grabbed onto this kind of death machine to disarm it, and it worked, but hurt a lot. And this is the aftermath of fighting Geometron and kind of disarming this death machine. So you want to kick us off there, Kyle?
Absolutely. Cue the dramatic music. Zoe stared down at Jim.
You literally hugged a death trap. Even for you, that was pretty dumb.
Lying on his back, Jim blinked hard. His vision had gone all wonky, like he was seeing the world through a funhouse mirror.
Hey, how am I supposed to know something's dangerous unless I hug it?
He tapped his chin in thought.
Maybe that's why I keep getting bitten by stray dogs and cats and hobos.
Zoe tapped a button and her mask folded away. Her voice softened.
That was a brave thing you did. Some might even call it heroic.
From his prone position, Jim reached out and poked her ankle.
You take that back. If I could move, those would be fighting words.
I'm more dangerous than I look.
Well, how would I know when we haven't hugged?
Shaking her head, Zoe helped him to his feet.
Maybe we'll get to that later.
Is that flirting? I mean, be careful with me. I've been hurt before.
Jim pointed at Geometron, who lay still.
Literally, by her, just now.
And scene.
And scene.
Geometron.
So clearly that is different than Monty Python, and clearly it is different than Conan O'Brien. It's just what churns out of the machine in my head that likes what it likes, but also makes what it makes. So I just thought it'd be an interesting contrast.
Love it.
Okay, I think we're ready for our next ad break.
Hey, I'm back. There's something I forgot. What I do in the woods is none of your business. If you need me, I'll be in my den.
Hey,
Short and sweet.
right.
That's a safe reminder. That is a good
Exactly.
one. Yeah.
Beware
Nice.
bear. Because they're aware of you.
Well, in the spirit of this episode, I wanted to end on something fun. So, guys, the time has arrived for romance novel or death metal band part 2. As before, I will read each one of these in a smoky, sultry voice. And you will take turns guessing whether it's the title of a romance novel or the name of a death metal band. And we will see who wins in the end. We'll do a few rounds or until you're tired of the game.
This is such a hard game. Like this is a ridiculously hard game.
Would someone like to volunteer to go first, or shall I pick you at random?
Pete will go first.
Cut.
Oh, nice. You're up, Pete. Okay.
All right.
I would start you out with a banger. Unicorn Horn of Desire.
Oh. I like the rhyme, the internal rhyme there. That's pretty
Okay.
good.
I know, right?
So talk us through your
Unicorn
thoughts.
horn
Like, are you thinking
of
like,
desire.
what are these guys like? What
Well,
are they-
I think a death metal band. I don't think a death metal band would land on anything with unicorn. So I just feel like the first word screams to me romance novel.
Is that your final answer?
That is my final answer.
You are correct. It is a
Oh.
romance novel.
Wow.
Right
Nice.
here, yo.
I actually
Yep.
think, Pete, that may be your first point in this game. I don't think you got any right the last time.
Oh no, man! I didn't know you were keeping score across sessions.
You're on the board.
Okay, I'm on the board.
Okay, just regarding this whole romance novel thing, in fairness, I wrote the Unicorn Horn of Desire and I sent Pete an advance copy. So I feel like maybe that wasn't fair.
Okay. All right, Kyle. Okay. Dark Tranquility.
Dark Tranquility.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I mean, it's an easy layup for a romance novel, but I think what the band would be that would be like, would they all be in like gothic and lace and stuff? I mean, can't see like guys wearing like Nirvana t-shirts and cutoff shorts, like rocking. Yeah, I think I'm gonna stick with my first thought, best thought. I'm gonna say that is a romance novel.
It's a death metal band.
Is it really?
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, Pete. Fragments of Unbecoming.
Oh,
Okay. I probably would have said it's a romance novel until Dark Tranquility was a death metal band. I feel like my world is upside down. I think I'm going to say it again, Fragments of Unbecoming.
Fragments of Unbecoming.
Okay.
have to
I
read
like
that
it how your announcer like cannot break character, but only when reading the title. That's
well,
a
yeah. I
skill.
guess in your head you have to go
I-
like on the main stage.
Yeah, right. You kind of do.
It's
Fragments of Unbecoming. No, I think it's. I'm gonna go. I'm changing my mind. Romance novel. Romance novel. Final answer.
Pete, it's a death metal band.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Oh
it sounds like
God!
All right, Kyle. P.S. I loathe you.
P.S. I loathe you.
Yep.
Oh, God, that's so good. Oh man. Oh man. I don't think any death metal band would like want to have like, Metallica Guar. P.S. I love you. So I'm gonna say romance novel.
It's a romance novel.
Yeah.
Oh, thank God.
Well done. Okay. Pete.
Yeah.
The vampire's captive.
Oh, whoa, man!
Okay,
you go
all
either
right.
way.
Oh.
I guess the question is, Pete, are they a willing captive or an unwilling captive?
Mm.
I mean, is this like an Anne Ricey kind of
Right.
thing? But isn't there a metal band surrounding Anne Rice's material?
Yeah,
this
probably.
is a snake eating its tail, is what this
Yeah.
is. All right, question: is vampire spelled with an I
Oh.
or a Y?
An eye.
Traditional.
Romance novel.
Final answer?
Final answer.
Correct, Pete.
Oh, nice.
It is a romance novel.
Let me just tell you, that whole IY question, that was a ruse. That one there was nothing to
you're
do
giving
with any
yourself
of my
time to think?
thinking.
Is that
Could have gone either way.
Buying time?
I just needed a break. I just need a break to pull my actual hair out for just a minute and act in confidence.
Okay, Kyle.
Okay, ready.
Howlers in Heat.
Ooh. Howlers in
If that's not a
Heat.
death metal band, we're in trouble.
Yeah. I mean, I can think of what that book would be, but I don't think that's what it is. I think that is a death metal band.
It's a romance novel.
Whoa, really?
Oh my God.
We're gonna there's gonna be some frantic Googling after this of like, what is the
Oh my God.
what is the log line of that book?
Well, I want to see, right? I need to see covers and pictures of all the bands and photo and book
yeah,
covers.
there you go.
Okay,
Oh, yeah,
Pete.
you're
Okay.
Yeah.
It's your turn, right, Pete? Okay.
It is my turn.
Ablaze My Sorrow.
Oh.
Is ablaze one word?
Yes.
Or
Ablaze My
it is-
Sorrow.
Any
to it.
punctuation in there? Comma.
Nope.
Is there a comma?
Ablaze.
Yeah.
You want to buy a vowel mix?
Is there a rogue apostrophe? Ablaze My Sorrow. Is there a dinosaur involved in the art at any place?
I was
I'm
thinking it
kidding.
sounded,
I don't even need to
Ablaze
know.
made me think piratey. I was thinking maybe like, you have your Fabio cover.
Oh.
Like,
Ablaze
Yeah.
Me
Ablaze.
Hearties is what
Yeah.
Ablaze Me Sorrow.
Ablaze me sorrows.
Okay. All right. So that makes me think that it's a romance novel. Ablaze My Sorrow. It sounds like somebody writing something to sound like
But
something that
You
is
could also
a period.
see like that, like
romance.
scrawled on a piece of notebook paper above some of like lyrics of my love for you is like a truck, sort of.
Do you know what it could be? It could be like decorative
There you
calligraphic
go.
font
Exactly.
and a volcano erupting in the background.
I can walk you
That
down
could be
both
their
paths.
whole brand.
I just can't get you to
I
that.
really can. God. I'm gonna go with a death metal band. I can
Yeah.
see the logo.
Pete.
Yeah.
It's a death metal band.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm gonna call it there because you are officially 3-1, Pete.
Okay.
Wow.
So, Pete,
what a good day for Uncle Pete,
you,
huh?
you blazed into the lead for that.
Oh.
Yeah. Ablazed.
Oh, that was outstanding.
You ablazed.
Do you have the logo of the band? I'm really curious.
No,
about it.
I just wrote them down. Yeah, I didn't keep any
Okay.
any of the art. I'm wishing that I had now because I think that'd be hilarious. But
That is hilarious.
You can link to the books so we can help some of our fellow struggling authors to.
Last thoughts from Mandy. This is the hardest game I've ever heard of, and I'm very grateful that I wasn't there to get my butt kicked because I lost every one. But on the upside, I'm definitely going to look into writing romance novels. So thank you.
okay, well, we're at just about an hour here, so that's it for this episode, and indeed, this season of Crafting Chaos. But you will hear us again before too long. In the meantime, I leave you with a bit of wisdom from one of the best comedies ever written. There is an art, it says, or rather, a knack to flying. The knack lies in learning how to throw yourself at the ground and miss. Clearly, it is the second part, the missing, which presents the difficulties. That's it for Crafting Chaos. See you next time.
Go make weird art.